and welcome to NXTGen Podcast. It is a podcast where we share biblical truths and facts that will help the body of Christ. Today, as you can see, I'm wearing two gorgeous colors, white and red. Why do you think I'm wearing that color? Well, because this is the season of love. And secondly, normally when you see me on this podcast, I'm either on the left or on the right. But today, I'm sitting in the middle. Do you know why? Before you know why. My name is Oluwadebi as usual, and I'm so happy to be your host for this particular episode. Today's episode, the topic is love unscripted. You hear that? Love unscripted. Navigating Christian Courtship. This is the season of love, and I think we need to know what we need to do when it comes to courtship, when it comes to love. And I have two wonderful people. Oh my God. I say let me call them daddy and mommy, but they refuse though. It's not my fault. It's just that, you understand? I have two lovely guests. At my right, I have Mr. Sorry, I'm not the one that's supposed to say the name.
My name is Samson Ojo.
Okay. I say Mr. Samson Ojo.
Just Samson Ojo is fine.
Mr. Samson Ojo. Let's leave it like that. All right. So to my left, I have a gorgeous, beautiful, stunning. Okay, ma, just say your name.
Okay, my name is Olufumi.
Ma, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just Olufumi.
Olufumi. Val is coming, so I want to treat myself
what
like
we wants
baby
to
girl.
do baby girl lifestyle.
Okay.
Singular.
Yes.
Singular. You want to join
But
the single
in actual sense, my name is Funmilayo T-Dada.
Okay.
I prefer Olufumi for this week.
All right. She wants us to call her Olufumi. I don't know how, sir, you want me to call you Samson? I don't know how to do. I have respect. So, I have respect very well. So, sir, let me just manage and call you Mr. Samson and shall I say
Olufumi.
Oh my God. All right. So this is still NXTGen Podcast. And the topic, like I said before, is love unscripted. Navigating Christian Courtship. So I'm going to start with ladies first or men's first. Daddy, what do you think? Mommy, what do you think?
Mommy's first.
You know what? I have a particular quote. It says, ladies first, after men. So, sir, tell us, what do you understand by love? Like, what comes to your mind when you hear the word love?
Okay. Thank you once again for having me. Okay. Now, in my own perspective, love, it's an ambiguous word in the sense that, to a very large extent, there are so many school of thoughts as regarding what love means. In fact, to some, it's they have discovered it by experiment. Some have discovered it by different means. And from scriptures, even we're told that God is love, right? So to just ask that, just straightforward, what is love, right? You may not really get one definition per se, because there are so many sides to it. But
okay,
to
wait,
me,
let me ask.
Okay.
Since there are many sides to the coin.
Okay.
When you met your wife,
all right,
what did you feel? Like, how did you feel? Explain that feeling.
Okay.
Let's know whether we can find love inside the feeling.
All right. Now, from what you just said now, you're actually coming from one dimension now, right? Because you attached feeling to it. Do you get? So,
okay.
So if we are going towards that direction, when I met my wife now, then she wasn't my wife, right? So, should I say I had feelings, or let me say I had something else, right? Because the feeling or emotions were mixed actually at that time until my head was straight, in quotes, before the emotions kicked in. Yeah.
So that's straight. We are still going to come back to
No
that
problem.
heading straight.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Olufumi, tell us, from the butterflies you had in the belly for your husband, you understand me? How can you explain love?
Okay. Thank you once again for having me. To me, love is something you envisage, something that spring out. It's not something that you can't feel love for some. Okay, let me use this way. Love is love. When you say love is love, love is something you grow into, you mature into. Love is not something you just wake up one day and you start having it. It's a gradual process. So it's something that you grow into as time goes on.
So as at the time you met Daddy, there was no...
Like, I'm meeting him, I don't love him. Because we are not going together. We don't have anything in common.
Okay.
But when you meet your partner, the love starts growing.
So
start germinating.
That means I would say love is a decision. Right?
To me, I would say,
met the person and then you decided to cultivate something special for this particular person.
But in the first instance, if you are meeting someone for the first time and there's going to be a spark, you will know.
Sparkles.
You will know.
So like the one that did not make...
Okay, right. Now, just coming in from what Mom has said, the truth is, when I meet someone, or generally, you meet someone, there is a generic thing that has to do with love, because you wouldn't want to kill the person. Do you understand? There is an affection, but there is a boundary. So that's why I started with, there are many sides to it. Do you understand? Because, we should love our neighbor. But that doesn't mean I love you as my neighbor. I should go in, on the bed with you. So there are actually boundaries. And that's why you see that when individuals become closer, the affection begins to come up. And so it becomes more colorful. It becomes more radiant, and then at the end of the day you discover that this whole thing called love can begin to germinate, and before you know it, because funny enough, we've had scenarios where we've had people who were not attracted emotionally to each other, and then they had no option than to get married, for example, and while they were in it, somewhere along the line, they fell in love, in quotes, right? So it could be a spark that could start from somewhere.
Love is a beautiful thing actually. So I want to ask Mrs. Olufumi, navigating Christian courtship. We've heard of the word dating and courtship. Can you distinguish between these two words? Because I believe that some believers have that issue in the body of Christ. Like, what's the difference between dating and courtship?
Okay. Thank you for the beautiful question. You can go on dates with anybody, but you cannot court everybody. Do you get?
Yes, ma'am.
I can go on a date with you, a one night stand. Don't let me use the word one night stand as in the Christian fold. But I can go out with you, eat with you over a cup of coffee, chat with you. But courtship is quite different. You court a person you want to spend the rest of your life with. You court somebody that you have a liking for, that you love, that you people are ready to take a step ahead. That is, just to make it short, dating it could be just a ephemeral thing, not something deep. But courtship is more deeper because it leads to a longer journey.
All right. So I want to ask.
Okay.
What was the first thing you said to? What did you say to your wife to woo her? To woo her. Let me use the Nigerian word, to toast her. You understand? Okay. What did you tell her that made that?
All right. Okay. To black men don't blush, so I'm not blushing.
Oh, black men don't blush. Okay.
Of course. So
we'll see.
Now, actually, and the second thing, she's not a bread that they toast.
Okay. So let's remove the bread.
All right. So now for the question, personally, my upbringing, in quotes, has not been the most romantic type. Now, when I mean the romantic type, like I've personally now, this is not for everybody, right? Because it's what did I tell my wife that made her to, do you understand? So, in that regard, the truth is my upbringing was very different. I really wasn't that kind of person that was so fascinated by, kneel down here, say this one, say that one, So when I met my wife, I knew she was my wife. I just went straight.
Wow.
Like, I had no, now this is me being honest.
Okay, so sir, what did you, the straight you went, what did you tell her?
Straight, no.
You just, hello lady, straight.
No, there's no hello lady. But initially though, I established friendship because she was in my home church. And so, and funny enough, when it started, I never saw her to be my wife. You understand? So I was just going about my business, in this department, in that department, and all of that. So I made sure that we were friends. And so when I had, in quote, the signal, I had to make the friendship more intentional, right? So I wasn't a stranger to her when I actually spoke to her. Right. So, because for me at that time, I had no idea. I mean, I don't believe in girlfriend, boyfriend, like it's a waste of time. There's no sampling because I've already gotten my go ahead and I know of a sure that, okay, this is the person compatible for me. And so I just spoke to her my mind. This is my intention. This is what I want. And then, the ball was now in our court. Okay,
sir. I have one thing against all romantic Christian brothers. They'll just go back.
Okay. The idea, the thing is, because it's more about foundation, exposure, environment, because for example, if you grew up in a place whereby you were not exposed to such a thing, right? It's very difficult for you to express it. Like you can't express what you don't know. Do you understand? And I feel so much that we have so many people who have either not been exposed to the right thing, or not underexposed or something, and at the end of the day, when we get to that point, we sometimes depend on the trends that is happening. And so we find it difficult to express ourselves. You understand? For me, if I had a privilege to repeat that day, in my head right now, with what I know now, with the kind of exposure I know now, believe me, I will sweep her off her feet.
Oh my God.
Like flawlessly.
Wow. So let me throw this to mommy. Was daddy romantic in his approach?
No.
Hey. Your Bible will say the end of cinema.
The first day
what
we
happened?
met.
Okay.
The first day we met, he came to my school for a visit. Like, let me just know this person I've been talking to.
Okay.
And so I could remember that the July 1st, 2018, he came. Then after the normal pleasantries, greetings and all of that, and he just said, "Where have you been?" Like,
where have I been?
Where have you been? Like, he has been searching. Like, where have you been? And
but
in
that
my mind,
sounds romantic.
So in my mind, I was like, okay, I've been where you kept me. Now you are coming to pluck the flower. And the next visit, no date, nothing. The next visit, I saw him working on his computer. What was happening? Because I was like trying to engage him in some conversation and all of that. And he said, "I'm picking wedding songs."
Sorry, what? He's picking wedding
songs. I was like, which wedding? Our wedding. Second visit. Maybe we need a course for this.
Please, no man should follow this. What is
And that was it.
Hey, bro, this is a serious matter. Anyone that plans on telling a lady on Valentine's Day, please don't do this.
Maybe a little bit fell around Valentine and all of that. Maybe
it will be romantic.
And then I was in school, no time for paparazzi, and before you knew it, we were on the altar.
Wow. How many months did it take for you to court your husband?
5 months.
5 months. Daddy, how many months did it take for you?
I wasn't good with it. Funny enough, I had to ask my wife again to remind me. But it was actually 6 months.
Can you see this man? The first day my husband came, I could remember the color of shoe, his suit, and all of
Details.
that. So when I told him that you were putting on a match color, I think after 3 years, you were a man cram.
Okay, so talking about courtship, how many months should a Christian courtship last? How many months should we court ourselves before getting married? So I want to know so that when I start courtship, I know the amount of time I'll use on courts.
Okay, I do tell sisters, there's no time for long. In fact, it is not advisable. I don't like longevity of time. You know, the last time I told you, I was in the courtship for 10 years.
Wow.
That didn't end somewhere. And then I was in a courtship that was less than 6 months, and it ended in marriage. I used to tell sisters, how will I spend almost 5, 6, 7 years in school, and I'll still come and be studying a man again? Just pack your bag and go. So you have to believe it's not a matter of time. The longer you are together, or this, when God says it's ready, you are ready, you know. Like I said, funnily, he said, where have you been? That means he saw some things in me. And the moment I saw him too, and let me tell you this, I hate guys that use glasses.
Wow.
So when I saw his picture, when he was chatting with me, I was like, it was a piece of already. But when I saw him, I had I knew that God, this is him. And that was it. There was no time to waste time. Just do everything. Your pastor should know, your parents and all of that. Pray, be convinced. And
this brings me to the question. Some Christian sisters, they feel bad that God is leading them to a guy that is not their type. Like they want a tall, dark guy with muscles.
God's spec
and
can
then
never be
God
our
is
spec.
bringing them one shot guy with pot belly, that kind of thing. I'm like,
God's spec can never be our spec. God might be leading you in one direction and you are going this way. God will just be watching you.
But the thought of God is for us is of good.
Yes. You might not see it now. Do you get? You are meeting someone for the first time, second time, third time. You can't really know what that person has in stock or him. The first time I knew you, I never knew you were this good, or do you get? Yeah. But as time goes on, it's like an onion. The more you unfold it, the more you see the beauty.
Yeah.
Or a rose flower, the more it blooms, the more you see the beauty. So when God is saying, I'm giving you this person, why not trust God? Why not trust God? Trust the process.
Trust God.
And trust the
Single
process.
guys, single ladies, trust God. If God brings you someone, yes, Daddy.
Just to add up a little bit more.
Okay, sir.
Because from that angle, I believe there's a perspective to the men, because in your words, the lady is expecting a tall, dark, and then the short guy comes. So you see that there's two sides, there's two perspectives. Now the guy is coming and he's short. He doesn't meet any requirement. Do you understand? Like all the checklists are gone. Now, the truth of it is, going back to the beginning, actually, God actually told Adam, sit in this garden, tend the garden, keep it. In fact, other translation will say guide it, which means that was his responsibility. Yeah. God himself, by himself, said, this guy is not good for him to be alone like this. Let me make somebody for him. He didn't ask God that he needed someone. God saw the need for it. And so to that responsibility, God brought someone who he made from him. And if you read it very well, Genesis chapter 2, if you just go down there, you realize that God did not actually say, this is your wife. The Bible says he brought her. He confirmed that this is the wife, and he called her the wife. So the point I'm making in a nutshell is that, the ladies, for example, it's not bad to want something good. I want somebody tall, dark, handsome, rich. It's fantastic. But sometimes God may not bring the finished product to you. God can actually, may bring you, the raw material. And the funny thing is, the raw material is better than the finished product because there are so many dimensions. In fact, right now, if my wife were to be here, she can literally check some marks and tell you, my husband was not romantic. My husband was not this. But this is going to be our 7th year, and then by the grace of God, there are certain things that already thank God I did not miss you. I say, you see, right?
Yeah, you see,
no, it's true, right? Because you can imagine the wife of somebody, of many influential people. The kind of Thanksgiving they'll be having right now is, thank God I did not lose this man. Do you understand? Because imagine the man came to you, giving you the opportunity. So I feel the ladies should actually look more into the vision. Otherwise the guy may just be a television.
That's
deep.
Oh, deep. Wisdom. All right. So I want to drag us back to the beginning before we sing God's purpose for our life, for male and female, husband and wife. The place of asking God for a spouse. How do we tell the Gen Zs of this generation that it's not about checking this one out if it's good, checking this one out if it's good, or you just need to sit down, ask the Lord, and He will reveal the person to you? Because sincerely, many youths of this generation, they don't have the patience of sitting down to ask God because they feel like God will not give them what they want. And then let's try this one. Now, if it works out, we move on. And then before you know it, they're in 5-6 relationships and going in and out. Like, how do you try and advise the youths of this generation? Or why do you think they do that?
Okay. Someone that has not been hearing from God, I think we should start from there. How do you hear from God? Have you been praying on some things and God will speak directly to you? If your friend is sick, if your friend is traveling, if you want to do something, can you hear God directly that, okay, God, this is your leading. Should I go or should I not go? Lord, I need some signs. You've not been doing that. It's now got to the stage of marriage. And I say, oh, Lord, I want to hear from you. As I'm going out, the first man I see was being like, you will see men. You will see different people. And I thought there was a day I was invited for a program and I told them that there's a thin line between, just as there's a thin line between life and death, there's a thin line between choosing right and choosing wrongly. If God is saying this and in a second you miss it, like divert your attention, the devil will bring a replica of that person for you, and you'll be like, God, thank you. You see, thank God that you have chosen right, but in the actual sense of it, you have missed it. Now, someone who has not been hearing from God, definitely it will take a lot of hard work, setting yourself aside, praying, fasting before you can. And believe me, before God can even speak to you, it will take grace. So I think the job starts now. Before you even start to think about marriage, start praying now. Lord, lead me aright. Lord, don't wait until that time of need before you start praying. And that is the mistake most ladies and guys
I want to ask you a question. Okay. What time do you think is the right time to get married?
Okay.
Is there a specific time that we should choose to marry?
Still going back to the beginning, God made Adam not as a boy, but as a man. And there's a reason for that. Because that's a responsibility both of the garden and the responsibility of handling a companion or a helpmate is not the job of a boy. And so we have a lot of people that by age, they have advanced. By maturity, they are still boys.
Toddlers.
And so it's very, very important that, it's more about the maturity. Because, I met someone who, after he graduated from school, even before service, the first thing on his mind was that he wants to get married. Now today, like this, they are together. It's people that I know very well, and right now they are 15 years in marriage, and they are doing very fine.
Wow.
Do you get it? So if you can handle it, I think it's time.
So it doesn't have to be a certain age.
No, it doesn't have to be. No.
And if you are not mature enough, if you cannot handle your emotion, you don't have anything to do with marriage. You cannot condone some things. If you are not kind, if you are not empathic, you don't have anything to do with
patient.
Marriage. Yes. So those things are gradual. So it doesn't have to do with age. A 50-year-old might get married and get it right, and a 35-year-old might get married and get it wrong.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. When you were courting your husband, did you notice any attitude that you did not like while courting him? And then you were like, like marry this guy, this attitude is too. So why is smiling? Seems like like, did you notice? And can you share that attitude?
Okay. Why is Mr. Mike jacking his face? Okay. The first thing I noticed was in the area of cleanness. Like, I'm a kind of person that in my room, if I put my perfume bottle here, please, when you come to visit, my friend, don't shift it. If you shift it back. So I noticed that in his car, anytime we go out, you see papers, books, and all of that. I'll be like, I'm Aja. Like, I like guys that are clean. And when I knew that, I was okay, maybe God made me clean so that I can cover that part from me. So I think, and I know when we met, I know he likes to argue a lot. I said, fine. Miss, you have to calm down. You are a lawyer. You have a judge at home, a senior lawyer. My husband can argue from morning till night. So in our home, I try to like cool down. I leave my lawyers work in the office and I come back home.
So my last question to you, sir.
Okay.
The place of red flags in relationship. How can we know that this is a red flag?
Okay.
Can you mention a particular attitude? Maybe you dated somebody before and she had a red flag and you had to shift. Like, how did you find out that it's a red flag and how did you run away?
Okay. Just to set the record straight, I was never in a relationship before my wife.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean I never had people I admired, right? Because I'm not an angel. Right. So now the truth is, for red flags, now, and this is very, very serious because sometimes, when we are in certain relationship, now we get so carried away with many things, that we forget to look at the most important things. Because, for example, we have so many people or many youths in this generation that they just want to get into a relationship or marriage because of, in quote, the fun of it. We eat out, there's so many, something in your mind, we eat out, those imaginations, they are good, they are cool. But the truth is, within the institution, is deeper than that, is wider than that. We just go out, we stroll out, I've had such imaginations before. But the truth is, the period of courtship is a period of, searching, is a period of searching, because one thing I need us to really understand more is the fact that there is no one man for one woman, is the truth. It's not like, for example, my wife right now, if she had not accepted to marry me, I would still get married. Do you understand? So which means that, okay, this person I'm with is compatible with me due to this various reason. And so therefore, if I'm looking at this person, the anger issues is so much. Oh, I see him beating his sister, right? There are pointer that shows that this person, when we finally get into it, right, I may become his punching bag. right? And so when the issue began to unfold, you can begin to think, but I saw this thing that time, right? I saw this thing. I saw it. He likes women. I never paid attention to it. And, you'll be punctured with so many things. So at that point, I believe that, everybody can sit down, ask questions, talk a lot, talk again, talk over and over again. Do you understand? Not like you are tempting the person, but you want to search to be sure to hold what is truth at hand.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Mark.
And the red flags are always there.
Yeah, you always see it.
It's just that
it's just you need to be
instead
aware
of talking, our sisters will go out to go and do garnutious outing, dating without asking cogent questions. Pray God help us.
This particular topic, love unscripted. There is no script to love. It's very bulky. And we have this topic, if possible, we'll bring it back again to talk about more aspects of love. This is NXTGen Podcast, and I am your host, Oluwadebi. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Samson, thank you so much, Mrs. Olufumi. This is the season of love. We want to tell you, love your spouse. As a married couple, we that we are not yet married, we will love our spouse at the right time. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I love you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.